I had knocked a new bitch, a 28-year-old accountant bitch that worked for the Miller Brewing Company. She was a bad bitch. I took her to the movies and dinner for our first date. We had a good time. Then the second time we went out, I picked up a bitch and I forgot something at the crib. So I took her back to the house with me to get that. I had her come in the crib so she could see how I was living. And as soon as she sat down on the couch, the police was beating on my door, and the next thing you know, we was getting raided while my bitch was there. A nigga from Milwaukee writes to BossMack. He say, BossMack, I'm a 30-year-old nigga out here working at the Amazon, working as a Amazon driver and a barber. I have a few bitches in rotation. I'm doing good right now. I have my own house and I have a Dodge Charger. As a matter of fact, I'm just kind of getting back on solid ground. I am really actively trying to get a bitch back that I fumbled a few months ago. Here is the story. I was sharing a house with one of my bros last year. My bro was getting his out the mud, selling powder, heroin, and pills. And I was working for Amazon and cutting hair. Anyways, I had knocked a new bitch, a 28-year-old accountant bitch that worked for the Miller Brewing Company. She was a bad bitch. I took her to the movies and dinner for our first date. We had a good time. Then the second time we went out, I picked up a bitch and I forgot something at the crib. So I took her back to the house with me to get that. I had her come in the crib so she could see how I was living. And as soon as she sat down on the couch, the police was beating on my door, and the next thing you know, we was getting raided while my bitch was there. We all ended up going to jail. They even took my bitch, but they ended up letting her go. I stayed in jail for like 2 days and I got released. But my guy, he ended up getting caught. He was dirty. He had a few blowers in the house and some work. He is in prison right now. He got like 7 years. And now I'm back out here doing my thing. But this shocked my bitch to where she didn't want to fuck with me and cut me loose. Now I'm trying to rekindle some shit. BossMack, what are your thoughts on the get back? Hit the like button. Let me say this. this is why, okay. This is why I don't like having roommates. You know what I'm saying? This is why I don't like having roommates ever. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what I'm saying? Now, mind you, I know it was fun for a while living in a criminal house. You know, your man making a lot of street money. It was probably lit over there. You know what I'm saying? A lot of money in the house, a lot of energy and fun. You know what I'm saying? And it make you look good and shit. But at the end of the day, you know, you want to be your own man in your own castle. You know what I'm saying? And you see right there, you see not being your own man in your own castle costs you a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, it's a series of unfortunate events. You know what I'm saying? And see normally it's a lot of bitches that like the action like that, like, you know, getting caught up in real shit and gangster shit and all that. However, when it's the downside, you don't have no foundation established with the bitch. Y'all just getting to meet each other. You just hanging out, and then all of a sudden have a shocking event like that happen, and you know what I'm saying. You know, to go through the experience of police interaction and going to jail and getting released, and you know what I'm saying, just the whole, hey man, you know. But hey man, you never know. Hopefully a bitch is following you on social media and you could, show that you're living your life and you're doing good and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? I would, I might, I throw up a wave and be like, on some apologetic type of shit, as far as like, look, I'm a legitimate citizen, I was living with my man, that was my bro, you know, forgive me, you know what I'm saying? But now I got my own shit, you know what I'm saying? Perhaps reconsider it, leave it like that, real amicable and friendly, and don't press the line, you know what I'm saying? And, you know what I'm saying? And see if a bitch, feeling you might want to give you a shot, but I wouldn't press the issue. And, sometimes it's just series of unfortunate events happen, man. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes shit just don't go your way, man. You know what I'm saying? But once again, when you live with a nigga, especially if you live in a gangster house, to all the niggas out there listening to me, man, if you're roommates with a nigga that's a gangster, that's always in the cards if you never knew it. You know what I'm saying? If you live with a nigga that's a gangster, and you might not even be a gangster, you the square homie that's just around. You know what I'm saying? When shit go bad, it could affect you too. You know what I'm saying? And that go for like, even when, let's say some gangster shit happen and niggas come to rob y'all or rob old boy, or you know niggas have a shootout or something, you're gonna have to grab your gun in that. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to participate. If some gangster shit happen, you're gonna have to grab your gun. You know what I'm saying? You know, if you live with a gangster, if your roommate is a gangster, it's your homie, you subject to the gangster activities that might unfold. Raids is one of them. If the raid come, you know what I'm saying? You know, and if your bitch is there, it's gonna seem like you part of it. You know what I'm saying? You know. Imagine how shocking that was to your bitch. She's on a, it's, you know, she thinking y'all finna go out and eat and have a nice time. Then all of a sudden, it's everybody sitting in the living room with handcuffs on, and the police is tearing up the house, and they done brought out the guns and the dope, and you know what I'm saying? The police is pressing the bitch like she knows what's going on. She on a date and shit, and you know the police ain't listening to you. You trying to say, man, I was just going out on a date, and then the police is like, nigga, you in it too, and and then the bitch is looking at you like, nigga, you in the game, you a dope dealer and a this and a that, nigga. I thought you worked at Amazon, and you look like you're lying, and then you know everybody going to jail. You go to jail, spend a night in jail. She got to call her people and say she in jail and shit. Might miss work tomorrow and shit. And what the fuck you doing in jail? And what the fuck? Might get fired and shit. And nigga, you worry, you wondering if you gonna have to stay too. And you don't know what to say, and the police asking you, do you know what your homie doing? You live here, and you like, I ain't never seen nothing. And what you mean you ain't never seen nothing? He got blowers in here. He got heroin and pills, nigga. What you mean you ain't know what he doing? And you like, man, I work for Amazon, and the bitch is looking at you. She don't know what to think, and everybody in jail. And then we was going to get some. We was on our way to go get something to eat. I thought I was going on a date, nigga. Just like I left something at the house. Let me go by the house. But then just imagine if you'd have went out on a date, had a nice time at the date, and then you was like, okay, stop by the house to get some pussy right quick, and you go home and the shit is just kicked in, ransacked the house, kicked in, ransacked. The house kicked in, ransacked. Niggas probably blowing you up. Man, they in your house, they at the crib, man, they in your house, man. But that's why you gotta live by yourself, man. When you got roommates, man, gangster roommates, it's fun. It's a fun part. I've done it before. It's a fun part to that. It's a fun part. Now, see, when I had gangster roommates, you know, we didn't ever get the raid. But we almost had the shootouts. You know what I'm saying? We almost had the shootouts. You dig me? Shout out to the Milwaukee niggas, man. Milwaukee is lit, bro. I'm gonna be out there in a couple weeks. I think I'm gonna be out there, man. I think I might do a show out there, man.